It's time to go to work. Welcome to the world's most dangerous podcast, Straight Shooting with Stevie Ray.
You know you drive me crazy, baby.
What is up? What is up again on another glorious Tuesday evening, afternoon, whatever you want to say, night. I am your boy here on the world's most dangerous podcast, Straight Shooting with Stevie Ray, and I'm your boy, Stevie Ray. Ray Dog to some people, but Stevie Ray, if you will. You guys know tonight we've been pumping it up. We got a very, very special guest tonight. A very, very special guest. And I'm telling you right now, man, I am very excited to have my boy here with us tonight. I get to who he is in a minute. But I got a few things to talk about before we get to our special guest tonight, man. As you guys know, man, I had a very good weekend. Had a very good weekend. Hanging out in Dallas, Texas. You guys know Dallas, Texas is near and dear to my heart because I have a lot of family in Dallas, man. And my career got started in Dallas. A lot of people don't know that. My career got started in Dallas at the old Sportatorium. Yeah, me and my brother had some good times down there. But I was in town for a big comedy show. Yes, my buddy Tate, we've talked about him before. He put on a very, very, very glorious comedy show. And I'm telling you right now, man, I laughed so hard at the comedians. And I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to all the comedians that got up there and did their thing, man. As a matter of fact, one of the comedians gave me a t-shirt, and we're going to feature him on the show. He gave me a t-shirt. Super funny guy. You guys have seen him on different outlets. I'm not going to get into that right now. But I just want to let you guys know something, man. I had a great time. And the reason I'm bringing that up is this. One of my very, very best friends, Mr. Producer knows him also. You guys know him as Rice Snapper from the show. You've seen him put in the comments and things of that nature while the show is going on for the last 4 or 5 years. And Rice Snapper's real name is Gary Abrams. And he was a very, very, very close friend of mine. We've been knowing each other over 40 years. And I lost my friend. And I'm dedicating this show to him because when Gary and I when we would talk, we would always make each other laugh. That was our favorite thing to do, man. We laughed so hard at so many things, man. Nothing was ever serious with us. Even when something was, out of bounds or something like that, we would find a way to laugh at it, man. And that was our bond, man. That was our bond. So when he passed, this past Wednesday, unexpectedly, actually, I was not going to go to the comedy show this past weekend. I was like, no, man. And my daughter came over and she was like, Dad, I think you should go. Because you and your friend is something that could be therapeutic for you. Because that was y'all bond, laughter. And guess what? My daughter was right. because I thought about him that whole time this weekend, and I was like, if he had been healthy, he probably would have came with me, because one of his favorite things was to go to comedy shows and laugh. So, my friend, Mr. Gary Abrams, hey brother, I was thinking about you this weekend as I laughed. Yes, as I laughed, because it made me think about you. And that's what you would have wanted me to do. But with all that being said, say a prayer for my boy, if you don't mind. Mr. Gary Abrams, you guys know him as Right Snapper. But getting back to the show, you guys know we have a superstar on tonight. I have a little conversation that I got to have with Mr. Producer before we get to the superstar. Let me see, is Mr. Producer out there in here? There he is.
Hey,
There he is.
on.
Mr. Producer, what's going on, man?
Oh man, I gotta tell you,
What's going on with you?
Oh man, I gotta tell you, I saw the new Avatar movie. So if you see a blue glow going on, it's just that radiation
Oh,
coming back. But I just want to say that I'm doing really good.
oh, okay. Well, Mr. Producer, I told you what I was going to be doing last week.
Mm,
And I also told you where I'm going to be going this week.
yes,
You know where I'm going this week?
Woo!
I am
Let
going to
everyone know.
WrestleMania. I'm
Oh,
going to
man.
WrestleMania, and I will be at WrestleCon signing autographs on Saturday, not Friday, not Thursday, Saturday.
Well, you know what they say about Saturday. It's the main event, Steve.
That's the main event, bro.
It's the main event, yeah.
You know, I have I'm an unexpected entry,
Oh,
but an
that I
entry
know.
nonetheless. Yes. So everybody that's going to be in WrestleCon this weekend, I'm going to be there on Saturday. And also, I'm going to be there getting a little footage for Stevie Ray TV. Yes.
Mm.
On YouTube, Stevie Ray TV. Mr. Producer, this is what I'm going to be doing. You know, I'm going to strong arm, okay? Because I don't need permission. You dig? Oh, Ray Dog don't need permission. I'm going to strong arm my way into WrestleCon. Do you know I'm not even invited?
Oh, really?
They didn't even invite. No. I just called the people up and said, hey, man, I need a table on Saturday. Anybody got one? And they said, yes, Mr. Ray, we have one for you. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And I want to go around and I want to get some footage, some video footage of all of the different superstars that's going to be there. Does anybody have a problem with that? They said, no, Mr. Ray, we don't have a problem. I thought that's what I thought. Can you dig it? That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Because see, what I want, I go get it. I don't talk about it. I be about it. That's what Stevie Ray does. I'm not in the WWE Hall of Fame because I was sitting on the bus stop. I wasn't sitting on the bus stop. You did, because I was out getting things done. And that's what I'm going to be doing this weekend. Because I and you also, Mr. Producer, we have to build up Stevie Ray TV. And sometimes I can't ask for permission. I just got to go ahead and get the job done.
And sometimes the haters, you know what the haters do when they hear this? The haters, they gotta run like hell. They gotta run like hell, Steve.
They better keep running.
Yeah, because you're on the way. You're on the way, and they're not going to see you coming. And it's going to be something that I think a lot of people remember. And boy, when it comes to putting the footage together, you know I'm like a kid in the candy store.
I know, brother. I'm
Oh
telling you right
yeah.
now, I'm gonna bring back some of the best footage. And see, Mr. Producer, you don't know this. I don't reveal a lot of things that I'm going to do, but you don't know this. But I'm going to reveal it to you right now on the world's most dangerous podcast. I'm going to reveal it to you right now. I'm looking for a few people. I'm not going to call their names, but I'm looking for them. And if they're at RouselCon and I can see them, I'm going to roll right up on them. And they don't even know. See, people don't even know I'm coming, bro. I wasn't even advertised.
Oh wow.
I did that on purpose.
Mm.
Because I wanted everybody to think, oh, Ray Dog's not going to be here, so I can show up.
So they thought it was safe and the coast was clear, but obviously it's not because you're right around the corner and you're waiting for them, aren't you?
Man,
Mm.
they just don't know. But I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know, brother. And I'm going to get footage. You dig? I'm going to get footage of all these suckers that has disrespected Ray Dog.
And let me just say this in advance, Steve. People think WrestleMania is going to be the show to see, but truth be told, the real show is going to be at WrestleCon because obviously Stevie Ray has something up his sleeve that we're waiting to see.
Oh yeah. See, this is the thing, man. You can't outsmart an OG like me. I always got something up my sleeve, brother.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When I was a kid, that was a cartoon.
Mm.
You might be a little bit too young to know this cartoon, but this was when I was a kid, man. We had the best cartoons ever. Nothing like this Pokemon crap that they got now. Nothing like this SpongeBob, this kind of crap that they got now. We had real cartoons, man.
Mm.
Real ones. And one of my favorites was Felix the Cat.
Ah.
Felix the Cat.
Okay, so you're going to the real retro.
Whenever he gets in a fix, he reaches into his bag of tricks.
Woo.
That was Felix the Cat. That was me. That was me. That is me. Mm-hmm. You never know what I got cooking, baby. You never know what I got cooking.
And let me let the viewers know, when Steve gets this way, this is why I don't share my location, age, or anything. I'm like the Unabomber. I'm trying to hide because I know when Stevie Ray gets coming, I know that I'm a dead man. So that's why I like to keep my job intact and keep it safe. And this is why I got the Unabomber look going on. I don't even share my real name, man. I'm
we have to be sometime covert.
Yeah. But I'm letting the people know I'm covert when it comes to you because I'm scared as hell of the WWE Hall of Famer Stevie Ray.
Well, that's what's going on, man. I just wanted to let the fans know that, and fans out there that's watching the show right now on YouTube, okay? And eventually, ladies and gentlemen, we are also going to be going live on Instagram, okay? And we're also going to be going live eventually on TikTok. Now, if any of you guys out there want to call into the show today and talk to our special guest, you can reach us at 832-243-4428. Let me say it again, 832-243-4428. Mr. Producer, I'm going to put you back into the green room because we got to bring out our special guest.
Oh, let me get ready.
Is that okay?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Let's see.
Mr. Producer, back in the green room. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our special guest is waiting in the green room. And I'm just going to throw out some of his accolades, if you will. This man is a two-time WWE Tag Team Champion. This man also is known as the original member of Next. You guys remember Next? Former reality TV star. Now that I didn't know. I have a problem with him about reality TV, but I'll take that up with him when I see him. He is a fitness advocate. Now, you know I know that. Who knows more about fitness than old Ray Dog, okay? Muscle and Fitness. He's been on all the magazines. Motivational speaker. And the guy has been in an array of movies and television shows, man. This man is the real deal. He may have been the original man of Nexus, but to me, he is a WWF superstar.
When you're sitting next to me, yeah, I know you feel the power. It's the feeling that you get when you face your final hour. Yeah, it's tasting kind of sour. It's all about me. It's all about the power. I said it's all about me. It's all about the power. Yeah, it's all about me. It's all about the power. I look at you, I see you no one. You look at me, yeah, you see a someone. If you got a mind, you never show.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. David Otunga is here. He's here. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for David again. Give it up for him one more time, man. You know, this man is the real deal. David, how are you doing today, man? How are you doing?
Man, I'm awesome. First of all, thank you for having me. But yo, that intro package, I might need a copy of that. Who was that? Mr. Producer? The Unabomber?
Mr. Producer, he puts all that stuff together, brother. He puts all of the stuff together.
That's not a package I've seen before. I can tell that was custom. That was dope.
Hey, brother, that's how we do it here, man. Like I say, we're not like other shows out there. We don't follow, we lead.
Man,
you know what I'm talking about, man. We don't follow.
That's right.
Nobody can bring you on and treat you like we do. But hey, man, let's get into it, man. What have you been up to lately? I gave all the accolades. Everybody knows you are an attorney. Everybody knows you are an aspiring actor. Everybody knows about the motivational speaking. Tell me what's new with David Otunga.
I'm glad you asked. So the latest thing is my YouTube channel. This is what I'm doing. You can go to davidotunga.com or it's David Otunga. I actually have two of them. My main one, I talk about a variety of things, but wrestling, and it's really like the nexus, if you will, of law and wrestling. So we talk about different legal cases. I had a video that just dropped yesterday about how wrestlers pay their taxes because tax season's coming up. And, you know, for people who are outside of wrestling, they don't know anything about that. But as you well know, being in the business, that's a whole thing. So I have that. And then I also have my lawyer channel, David Otunga Lawyer, which is just strictly a legal channel. No wrestling involved, but just leaning into that. But man, I got to say, like, I've only been doing this for about 6 months, but I love it. I love connecting with the fans and just being able to talk and answer questions that people have always had. And, you know, for the first time, I'm able to kind of set the record straight about my career and, behind the scenes stuff. So I'm really, really enjoying it. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, tune in, man. Check me out.
Hey, brother, that sounds very exciting, man. And I'm glad you are excited about doing things like this. You know, I got a background in all this kind of stuff, so I kind of like gravitated to it because I did a lot of this stuff before I ever got into the wrestling business. A lot of people don't know that. But be that as it may, man, let me ask you this. When it comes to being a lawyer and talking to people about legal things of that nature, what made you want to go into law anyway? Or were you always one of those people? I have an older brother who was always into political science and stuff like that. He wanted to be a lawyer. That is how I started getting interested in politics and things of that nature because of my brother, my older brother. But what made you want to gravitate to being an attorney and going to law school?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, it wasn't something I ever set out to do. Like, I'm telling you, from the time I was 6, I knew I wanted to be a professional wrestler and an action movie star. From the time I was 6. Yeah. But both of my parents were educators. My father was an immigrant from Kenya. So like school was really important to him. And so he wanted me to be a doctor. I was actually pre-med in college. Went to University of Illinois and, you know, graduated and almost went to medical school. But during that time, I was trying to figure out something else. I was like, man, I don't want to go to medical school. So I got
Right.
the opportunity to manage a cognitive neuroscience lab at Columbia University. And so to me, the job it sounded boring, but my dad was so impressed by it. And it was in New York City. And so Broadway's out there. So in my mind, because I lived in Chicago, moving to New York
Right.
for a job was a way better place for me to be, because acting wise, I could get my big break, and fulfill my dreams and whatever. Anyway, while I was out there, I was talking to my dad one time, and he mentioned how he'd always wanted to be a lawyer, but never thought he was smart enough. And that's wild to me. My dad had his PhD, 2 different master's degrees, a certificate of advanced studies. He had more degrees than anybody I know. So, and I know a lot of dumb
Right.
lawyers. He was obviously smart enough, but being an immigrant, this is where his self-perception was. Anyway, we're talking one time on the phone, and I say, hey Dad, what if I took the LSAT, the law school entrance exam, just do it, because I had a friend who was taking it. It's like, I think I might just do it for fun or whatever. And so sure enough, I called my buddy, found out when the law school test was, the LSAT, and it was a few weeks away. And I was like, yo, I think I'm going to take this. And he's like, Dave, man, you can't just show up and take this, because if you don't do well, they average your scores, and it's not a good look just to show up unprepared. But I told him, I'm not trying to go to law school, and really it's something I'm doing with my dad kind of for fun. I take the exam, and to my surprise, I did way better than I expected. I did very well. And my dad is so excited, and he's like, oh, you got to apply to law school now. Whoa, slow down. So he's so excited about it. All right, cool. So, he sends out, or we send out, I say he, but he was telling me schools he'll be to apply to. I played along with it. We send out the applications and everything. And we just sent them out. He's checked with me every day. I've heard back yet. I'm like, no, Dad, it takes a little while. And then I get a phone call one day. Dad had a sudden heart attack, passed away. And, devastated. I'm only 22 at the time, and it was so sudden and just quick.
Right.
So I go home to be with my family, and, help bury my dad. And while I'm there, I find out I got accepted to Harvard Law School.
Oh, wow.
And that was one of the most bittersweet moments of my life, because man, that's such a major accomplishment, but it was an accomplishment for him. It was something him and I did, and he just missed it. And I know he knows about it. And I always say, he probably had a hand in it. He's looking down, and he's proud, but I still wanted to see that smile on his face and that hug. Because for him, this is the best things he could have. This would be better than winning the lottery for, a Kenyan immigrant, his son, to go to Harvard. So it put me in a weird spot, because I was saying, I didn't expect things to go this far. And then now I have this amazing opportunity, but I wasn't serious about law school. I really wasn't. But, I thought about it, and my mom's like, David, you can't turn down Harvard Law School. So I figured, I would lean into this, and I would do this as a way to honor my dad. And so that's what I did. And I went and, earned my degree. And that's one of my proudest accomplishments. It's hanging right there next to my championship belt. But but I did that in a way to honor him and kind of close that chapter. And so, but then I think that's one of the things why, I used to get asked all the time, why did you give up law to become a professional wrestler? I'm like, well, first of all, I didn't give it up. I'm still a licensed attorney to this day, but they don't understand that wasn't my dream initially. It always was wrestling, but I had to go and take a different path to get there. And to be honest with you, that path that I took helped me get there. If I hadn't gone through that, it wouldn't have shaped me.
Right.
I'm not certain I would have made it to where I was trying to be in WWE.
I got that, man. I can actually relate to that, and I really can respect all of that, man. Kudos to your dad, man.
Thank you.
But after all of that, you become an attorney. And let me ask you something. What kind of law did you specialize in?
Well, for me, I always loved criminal law. I consider myself more of if I were to specialize in criminal law, but the law firm I worked at, I was a litigation attorney. So that's trying cases and whatnot. And yeah, I found that I really enjoyed trial advocacy, and just the competition in a trial, and like and the strategy involved. I really, really was into that. And then when I was in law school, I did all the clinicals I could. And when I was a 3L, so basically right before I graduated, I got to represent my own clients in Roxbury court. So I was basically a public defender with my own caseload.
Okay.
It was awesome and so rewarding because you were actually seeing like how you were helping people. And then it made me proud of the degree I was earning and the choice that I made and to pursue law school, because also I'm now able to help people in such a way that I couldn't have been before. It's like they gave me a superpower, or they trained me to use. And so like, even after I left law and became a wrestler, that's something that has always been really important to me, is the responsibility that comes along with that degree. That's something they told us there too, almost like Spider-Man, but like with this degree, with the power that comes with this, you have a responsibility to serve humanity and serve people. So it's something I always took very serious.
Well, okay. Now, how long was it after you got your degree and you started practicing that you got the bug and you got the opportunity to go, hey, man, I got a chance to go do something I've been wanting to do since I was 6 years old? How long did before that opportunity creeped up on you, and did it come out of nowhere?
So here's what happened. I'm working at the law firm, and I'm working there. I've been there like a year. And now, mind you, coming out of law school, like I said, I was a public defender, so I wanted to do criminal defense. They don't make very much money. And then I heard like how much my classmates were being offered to go work at these firms. I'm talking 5 times the amount of a public defender, legitimately, probably more than that. And then I heard what they'd pay me. All right, I got some student loans. Let me look into this. So I'm working at the firm. I'm making a ton of money. It's super prestigious. My mom is so proud, bragging to everybody. It's a top 10 firm in the world, if I'm being honest. Like, this is somebody else's championship. I say that somebody else because this wasn't my dream, which I discovered because I was working there a year, but I'm still going on auditions and stuff like in Chicago. And hey, this might be the part you said you wanted to pick with me about. I get a phone call one day from a casting agent, and they're on my cell phone, and they're like, "Hey, we're scheduling your audition or your interview for this show, this reality show." And I'm like, "What's that?" They're like, wait. First of all, what's going on? I didn't give you my phone number, and I'm trying to figure out how this happened. But they're like, "Yeah, you're a lawyer, went to Harvard, you're a bodybuilder." I'm like, yeah, we have your application in front of us, and you're clearly my cell phone number. Kind of confused. They told me what the show was. I Love New York too. I knew what the first show was, but I was like, no, I'm sorry. I thought it was a wrong number. I was so confused. Found out later, my niece, who was 13 years old at the time, was a huge fan of these shows, actually submitted me somehow online and got me to a legit casting director. And they were like, oh, they all about it. So I probably turned it down 3 times. And eventually, they called it. They were like, listen, if you ever wanted to do something in entertainment, this could be a great foot in the door. I thought about that. It's like, all right, it's a major opportunity. Those shows were huge. So
I know.
On the show, and it blew up, and it did what I wanted it to do. Cause like, man, I remember the finale broke whatever the ratings records were for reality TV shows at that time. It set the new record. So after that, I came back to the law firm, and this was before it aired. There was about 2 or 3 months. And during that time, like, I started to see how things were going. I was like, man, I think this is it. Like, I need to strike while the iron is hot. Like, if I ever was going to try to become a wrestler, it's now. And it was talking to my mom. I remember like, I went and I sat at her kitchen table and discussing this with her. And finally she told me, she was like, David, I'm already so proud of everything accomplished. And she's like, you've always been a kid that ever since you were a child, if you put your mind to something, you achieve it. And she's like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think the law firm is holding you back, especially from what you're trying to do in entertainment. She's like, I think you should leave. And it was like, that was all I needed to hear. I always say it's like that moment in Rocky 2 where Adrian wakes up out of the coma and she's like, win, Rocky, win. Mickey's like, what are we waiting for? That's how it was for me. I literally went in the next day and handed in my letter of resignation the next day. But was terrifying because up until that point, the next step in my life had always been laid out. And then now, yeah, I was making a ton of money, but I've only been there a year. And now those giant paychecks aren't coming anymore. And I don't know. I know where I want to go, but I don't know how to get there. I want to be a professional wrestler. I was on a reality TV show, but that doesn't mean you just go right to it. So I started looking around to try to find a wrestling school. And I remember this so well. I was in an airport and I was looking this up on my phone. I was doing an appearance or something. And this was just for being on the reality show. I was doing like a hosting somewhere. And I was really trying to figure this out. I was looking up wrestling schools, and it said something like, you have to have like 5 years of experience for WWE to even look at you, like on the indies. I have zero experience. Like I'm trying to find some. I'm like, all right, well, it's going to take time. I need to find a school to get my experience to then even audition for WWE. Start calling these wrestling schools, which there was only like 2 I could find the phone numbers for. Like this is in 2008. So like there was no such thing as the WWPC or any of this. And so where I was in Illinois, like it just was very secretive, you know. So anyway,
that's how the business was back then.
Yeah. I called a school in LA, and it's UPW. And you know how I found out about it? I heard John Cena went there. Okay, so I know there's a school, and The Miz, who came from the real world on reality TV. I think he went there. So I call and nobody answers. I leave a message, nothing. All right, well, there goes that. So I'm still trying to figure things out. And then later I get a phone call from a guy from that school. I think his name was Rick Bassman. I don't know how he was associated with them or not. He calls me and then asks me if I want to be on Hulk Hogan's reality wrestling show where he was going to train people to wrestle. Dennis Rodman too. Shout out to him. Future Hall of Famer here soon, a couple days. But anyway,
I'll keep my comments to myself on that one.
We'll get to that. So then he calls me the next day and is like, "Hey man, I'm sorry, but we filled the spot with somebody else." So now I'm kind of crushed because I was like, "Yo, this was going to be my way into WWE, clearly into wrestling." But then he's like, "Have you ever thought about trying out for WWE?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, that's what I want to do, but I don't have any experience." And he's like, "Don't worry about it." And he's like, "With your look and your story, I think they'll be interested in you." And he's like, I can get them to look at you. So I was skeptical, but I was like, all right, man. And sure enough, WWE contacted me, flew me to SmackDown in Houston, Texas. And I met Johnny Ace, and you know, he liked the look, liked talking to me, and wanted to verify. He's like, "So you're a lawyer?" Yeah. It's like, okay, all right. And you want to do this?
Did you tell him you might need me one day?
I think I might have said that during the People Power era. But hey, shout out to Big Johnny. You know how to reach me. Got my number. You know how to reach me. So then he offered me, he said, we'll give you a tryout in Tampa. Flew me to FCW. Okay. I had my tryout, and after that, they offered me a developmental contract, and the rest is history. Yeah.
Wow. Kudos to you, brother. I always wanted to know that story. You know, I always wanted to know it from the horse's mouth. I've heard different versions, but coming from the horse's mouth, man, wow. And the rest is history, bro.
Yeah.
Now, how long were you there?
In FCW?
No, how long, once you got a contract with Vince, how long were you there with WWE?
I signed my contract in like October 2008. And then I got released during COVID in April 2020 with the mass layoffs. Okay. Yeah. But by that time,
and you
I was
decided,
an announcer.
Go ahead.
Sorry? No, I was going to say by that time, I was an announcer. And even then, I was only doing the pay-per-views. So they're paying me the same amount of money. But I only worked like one day a month. And I was, working on some other shows for them that we were producing content, working on content that was going to come out on the network or wherever. But when COVID hit, they let everybody go. And I mean, I understood it. I'm only working one day a week, to be honest. So but it was what it was.
Hey, man, it's a living,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Everything in the professional wrestling business evolves, and whenever it evolves, you got to be ready, because it might hit you and you don't even know it's going to hit you. Somebody comes and go, hey man, we want you to join this now. Okay, all right. Paycheck stays the same. Go out and do the best you can do. Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But then, David, as you was working there, you were doing movies also. So what made you want to start being an actor?
Well, I'll tell you what, like that was, like I said, that's always something I'd wanted to do.
Okay.
And like, that was a good, like WWE wrestlers had been doing this. There was a lane, Dwayne having amazing success. I vividly remember this. I'm gonna give you something, Stevie Ray. Give you something I've never told anybody on a podcast. I never told the story at all. When I was in NXT, when we first came up on the road, one night Cena would take some of the rookies on his bus, and John Cena invited myself, and it was Heath Slater, the two of us. It was our night, and we rode on the bus with Cena to the next town or whatever. Had drinks, and we had a good time, man. Chilled. And I remember him talking to me about this, and he asked me like what my goals were, like what I wanted to do, and I told him like I want to be a singles champion. I want championships here. I want to be a top guy. I basically told him I kind of want to follow a path like he was doing. Eventually, I want to get into films and branch out and all this. And so like he and I talked about that, and we bonded over that, and like he knew that, got it, and we had just a good talk about that. But like that was always kind of the plan. Eventually, I wanted to get to that level because the other guys, the only guys doing this and making it, you have The Rock, Cena, Batista. I mean, these are some of the all-time greats. So anyway, what eventually happened was I landed on a Friday afternoon in, I feel like it was Shreveport, Louisiana, for a live event loop. I go to get I go to work out for the show, go to Subway for my post workout meal. Right. I get a phone call, my cell phone. It's a 203 number. It's the office. Hey man, what's going on? Why are they calling me? Pick it up. Can you hold for Paul, for Hunter? What? It's Triple H. What have I done? All right, yeah, I get on, and he's like, Dave, how you doing? I'm good. I'm here. Get ready for the event. And he's like, so we had an interesting request come in. They're interested in you for a movie with Halle Berry. I'm like, what? And it's like, I don't know. Is this something you'd be interested in doing? Yeah, Hunter.
No.
Yes.
No.
So he's like, with Halle Berry,
like you gonna say no?
You pick somebody else, and he's like, you're supposed to be her love interest. Stop right now. Like I can't even believe this is this real? So anyway, I'm like, yes, yeah, yo, absolutely. And this was right before we went on a South America tour or something like that. And so he's like, all right, let me work this out. They want to do a screen test. They're serious about this. And, I can book it for the South America tour. So I'm like, awesome. And then after that, I went and, did the audition, the screen test. And, they told me about like right before July 4th, I feel like I found out that I got the role. And so like I was super excited. But yeah, that's how I got into it was, the opportunity came through and WWE supported it. And it was a whole thing because like Vince was behind it too. And I remember I had to shave. And I didn't think that would be a big deal. I had to be clean shaven. And they're like, okay, Vince approved it. I was like, wow, well, thankfully good. But yeah, man, that was my first movie role. That's how I got into it.
I saw that movie. What was the name of that movie?
The Call.
Right.
The Call. Yeah.
Yeah.
Halle Berry's
and you were playing a cop.
Yep.
I didn't think it was, can I give my 2 cents on playing a cop? You're not going to pissed at me?
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know any cops like you, okay? I don't know any cops like that. I don't know any good cops like that, man. Yeah. I know, David Otunga was playing a cop, had his gun and his cabbage, the whole gimmick, I saw all of that. But I'm like, what kind of empathetic cop is this, man? All the cops that I know, they wasn't like you. Maybe you were the movie cop. That's a good guy. All the cops I know, man, they give people tickets for nothing and want to take them to jail for nothing. What's up with that? I would rather have seen that kind of cop fall in love with Halle Berry.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you, you might have hit on something that people don't know, and this is backstory people don't know either. But that's interesting, in that the way it was originally written, I was her love interest, and then there was, I don't know who was in charge. There was a guy. Oh, it was it Ty Bailey? No, it was somebody else who worked for WB Studios. I forget the guy's name. I know him. I can see him in my mind. But anyway, he calls me one day and then tells me, hey, so we're going to change things a little bit. He's like, I'm just concerned a little bit that, like, Halle Berry's an Academy Award winner, and this is your first movie. So I don't want her out acting you in scenes. So we're going to bring in another, seasoned actor, Morris Chestnut. And so we're going to have the writer split your role into two. So Officer Devon's into two, which then actually his name was Phillips, I think. And then they gave that name to Morris Chestnut's character, but then created two people out of it. So I was supposed to be like the hero, good guy version of it. But then they felt like he was more established. So he ended up becoming her love interest. And I was more like this hero baby face. I saved a baby in the first scene before it was seen. And so, like, yeah, you're right about that, though, because it wasn't the most authentic, because I just was supposed to be the positive eye candy, to be honest with you.
Right.
But hey, with Halle Berry, it's not like I'm going to say no.
I heard that, bro. With anybody in Hollywood, it's not like I'm going to say no.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You want to get in, I did a little showbiz stuff in my life. I did a couple commercial stuff like that. And I didn't realize, this is a true story. Let me tell you the story. Guy used to call us up. We never met the guy. He was a casting guy in LA. Got us on Comedy Central, couple other things, doing skits. Then he calls me out of the blue one day. He said, I got you a Snapple commercial. I've never met the guy, never laid eyes on him, But I'm so into my wrestling career. You dig what I'm saying? I'm so into it that I'm not even thinking about this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I do it because, okay, they let me off to go do it. Do it on the weekend, blah, blah, blah. Fly back to Houston. I live in Houston. So on and so forth. Then the guy calls me up one day and he goes, Stevie, I got so many requests for you, but the only thing holding us back is you live in Texas. Have you ever thought about moving to California? I don't even like visiting California when we go out there to wrestle. You know what I'm saying? Traffic. I'm thinking of traffic bad in Houston till you get to LA. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm like saying to him, no, because my daughter was just born. You see what I'm saying? My daughter was just born at that time. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. And you know who's a good friend of mine? Tiny Lister. Remember Tiny?
Oh, rest in peace. Yeah, he was dope.
Yes, that's my boy, man. And he told me a long time ago, man, if you moved out to LA, brother, you could get so much work with your look. And I had never had the inspirations like you did. And I didn't start thinking about it till years after I'd retired and stuff like that. Man, did I miss out on an opportunity? I always ask myself that. Because the guy was getting us work and we weren't even asking for it. Yeah. I remember doing a Snapple commercial, right? And it was a scene where I'm choking a guy in a chin lock, right? Mm-hmm. I flew up on a Friday, taped on Saturday morning about 11 o'clock, flew back to Houston Saturday night, 24 hours. And brother, that little commercial paid me so much money. I didn't even realize.
I was going to say
that I didn't even realize that kind of money you could make.
Yeah.
It was a Snapple commercial. So it was a nationwide, you know what I'm saying, deal. And I guess it started going there. After I tallied up everything for 1 year, because the checks start out big, then they go down, then they go up again, then they start to go down. I'm quite sure you're aware of that. When I tallied everything almost up, brother, it was almost $40,000. And I didn't do nothing. I mean, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's the easiest money. And I'm like, What was that?
No, I know exactly what you're saying. I'm gonna clarify it to everybody else, is because you and I come from wrestling. So anytime we show up for something like a shoot or commercial shoot, we're used to showing up to wrestling and being able to do everything. It's live, it's one take.
Right.
If you show up to a commercial, when I show up to a film, you know how many times we shoot a scene? 30 times. You know what I mean? And they're always amazed. I have my lines memorized on the first try. And I'm like, and I don't need multiple takes. So I always try to show off, I'll give them something different every take just to show them, after being in pro wrestling, I can do this with my eyes. I can do your lines. You know what I mean?
You know, a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people don't realize that professional wrestling gets you ready for theatrical type things.
Yep.
And you don't even realize you're being trained for it.
Yeah.
Like your own stunts, your lines and all that stuff. We do that stuff in wrestling with our eyes closed.
Yeah. And something
and I'm like,
that you didn't expect, and you got to adapt on the fly. It was part of it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just saying, brother.
I remember Hugh Jackman was a guest host when on Raw, and I was working, and I was a talent, and I remember just getting to talk to him briefly. I remember him saying this vividly. Wait, there's no retakes. This is just live, and he had to do a promo or something. And all due respect, was falling apart. But if you think about it, he doesn't do. He's a great actor, but they treated him like how they treated us, handed it to him when he was there. He didn't get it the night before. He had plenty of time to learn it. There's plenty of times I was handed a promo 5 minutes before I went out.
Right.
But I always remembered that. He's one of the top actors there is. But to hear him giving us respect, that was so cool of him to say that to me, even giving us respect and saying how difficult it was. I mean, it shows. People don't realize that.
Yeah, you got a couple hours to get this down and do it live in the ring tonight.
Yeah.
Simple, right? Yeah. Yeah, but once you get used to doing it.
Yeah, make sure you look at hard cam. The audience might latch onto something and try to heckle you. They might give you what chance. You got to navigate. It's like being a stand-up comedian too. You got to navigate all of this while doing your promo, getting that over. Yeah.
That is so true.
Your time.
I've told people so many times, and I'll see if you agree with me. Acting, dancing, combat sports, all of these different disciplines all wind up into one on one night.
Yeah.
That is what pro wrestling is.
Yeah.
If you take all of those different disciplines, put them together, and you got them do it for one night for 10 to 12 minutes.
Yep.
How much goes into that? People literally, I know when I got into the business, I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you're watching television and stuff like that, and then you start back in, I didn't come up, you came up in a little unconventional way than I did. We came up through the roots, the grassroots. So that's what got us ready. Whereas you guys, I think they had the Performance Center just starting then, right?
It was just FCW. It wasn't even the Performance Center.
Oh, y'all was over there in, what was that, Kentucky, Ohio?
Tampa. And then
Tampa. Okay.
After I was on NXT, they started the Performance Center and moved it to Orlando. That was about 2 or 3 years later.
Okay. So
also,
everything.
To add on what you were saying, don't forget, also, our lives are at risk and the person we're working with. So on top of everything we're doing, there's real major consequences, real serious consequences. We're trying to protect each other and ourselves. Don't forget about that part.
You ever got this question? I have many times. Can you get hurt wrestling?
Yeah.
That's you ever got that question? Can you get it?
That's literally our business, to the point where, you're so used to, at least for me, I'm so used to being hurt. I was it didn't count.
Right.
There's injured and then there's regular.
Right.
As long as I wasn't injured, I was always banged up, bruised up. That's a part of it.
I would tell people, I don't know what it feels like. I'm gonna tell you the honest to God truth, David. You probably experienced this too, since you stopped wrestling. When your body feels good, that's not normal. Did you go through that?
Yeah.
That's not normal. That your body feels good, and it's like something's not right in my life. I'm used to feeling, I'm used to hurting somewhere.
Yeah.
Isn't that strange how the mind works?
You know what?
Everybody goes out of their way to feel healthy. And we get to a point in our life like healthy is abnormal.
Right.
You ever thought about that?
I have. And to the point where then, you know what, like my mind is a wildness. Then what I do is I'm like, oh, I feel good. I push myself even harder in the
Right.
gym to where then now I am in pain and stuff from pushing myself so hard in the gym.
Right.
Legit.
Right.
But I'm like, and if I think about it, like sometimes I'm like, why do I do this? Why am I
Right.
pushing myself so hard? And I think it's what you said. Like I'm missing that. It's like that's been
Right.
part of me. So
Yeah.
subconsciously I find another way to push myself and push my body.
It's crazy. And I'm all the way up to this day. And I'm like, wow, man, I never had that catastrophic injury. You know what I'm saying? The one that you're in the emergency room for,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I had injuries, but never one where I needed an ambulance.
Yeah.
But how many of our contemporaries have?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know, and it's like, wow, you know, I missed the boat on that one. I'm glad, but I'm just saying, but so many small injuries add up that people don't know. The human body is not really meant to take bumps the way we did. And I don't know how much you worked in your career, but 1 year, David, I worked 317 days
Wow.
out of 365.
Yeah. Wow.
And, you know, people don't realize, I don't even think the promoters care. And maybe they shouldn't, because you chose this job. I don't know if you've had this conversation with people. You chose this job. So in essence, why should someone have empathy for you to try to make it easy for you? This is a way that I make money. You came into my world to make money. This is how it is. How do you feel about that? Because those kind of conversations come up a lot.
Yeah. And I mean, it's business. Like it was one of those things where like I understood it for what it was. Cause I'll be honest, like I remember when I signed with WWE, I didn't realize how many like live events there were. I didn't know that. I thought it was just the televised stuff, Raw or SmackDown.
Right.
We only work, you know, a couple days a week. Then I found out once I got on the road, no. TV is just the last day of the loop. There's 3 other days not televised. And I'm like, wait, this is going to be every week. And then it's like, I got it. And I was like, this is why not everybody can do this. This is what we need people out, is you have to love it, live and breathe it, but also you have to be on this day in and day out because everybody is. And if you're not, you get left behind. Which also, I want to ask you what you think about this, and that given like WWE's current model, they don't have the live events anymore. It's pretty much like I thought before, like just the TV. Do you feel like that's contributing to these wrestlers getting injured more often now? Because it seems to me like they're having a lot more like injuries that are keeping people out. And I don't know if that's just from lack of repetition, or like I kind of felt like when we were going every week, you kind of build up a callus in a certain way. Whereas then like if I was away from it for a while and then I went back, my body kind of wasn't used to it as much, and things would kind of hurt a little bit more. What do you think about that?
I think I'm going to put it in this perspective. I'm a big auto racing fan. Okay. And you have races like the Daytona, the 24 hours of Daytona. Okay. For the sports cars. Then you have the Daytona 500 for the stock cars. Then you have a race like the Indy 500. Okay. For the open wheel cars. They're all races, but they're 3 different disciplines. Okay. Now, when I put it in this perspective, it's like, I'll take you back to our era. We only went all out on the pay-per-views. So it's like a 24-hour race. We only got one car, one motor. So we have to take care of this car.
Yeah.
And be there at the end, if that makes sense, for 24 hours. We can't just go out here and blow it up. So in the house shows, the live shows that you're talking about, we basically just entertain the people.
Yeah.
And give them their money's worth. Because I can't come out here and do the Indy 500 every night.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I see where you're going.
I can't do it because if I do that, what do I have left for the big meal or the big show? So in essence, how we use the house shows is to get ready, strategize, put ourselves in position for the big show. Because see, tonight, you and I, David, we're working for 25 minutes a night. But we're taking little pieces of that 25 minutes for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
So now we can go out here and light it on fire.
Yep.
And it's over with. So you take care of me for the next 3 weeks, because back then we didn't do the pay-per-views every other week like they do now. We're going to take care of each other this month and get ready for the big show. So what I'm thinking now is every pay-per-view is the Indy 500. A 500-mile sprint. How much of that can you take? That's the way I look at it. I could be wrong, but if you notice, things have gotten more catastrophic and more dangerous. And when you're doing things that are more catastrophic and more dangerous, equals what? Injuries.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
I think you're spot on with that. I hadn't thought of that before because, like, with so many less dates, you're right. Every time somebody gets in there, it's the big one for them, basically. Right. And so they want to go a little bit, push themselves 500 miles an hour.
Right.
It's like, no. And if you look at it, the veterans who've been there before, when there were more of the dates, they're able to sustain because they're not doing that. But it's a lot of the younger talent.
And their bodies are conditioned for the 24-hour endurance race.
Yeah.
Is your body conditioned for the 24-hour endurance race, or is it conditioned for the sprint race? You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah. I like that analogy a lot. Yeah, I think that's.
I appreciate that because that's how I look at it. Because if you look at a LeBron James, a man that's 41 years of age, and he's still playing at a high level, but David, his body never broke down.
Right.
Michael Jordan's body broke down. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, all of the greats, their bodies broke down. Their spirit was there. Remember John Elway, after he won 2 Super Bowls in a row, what did he say? My body just won't let me do it no more. Remember him saying that?
Yeah. He
just won the Super Bowl, but I can't get out the bed, bro. What I'm saying is, I think LeBron James is close to being immortal, if we can use that word, toward an athlete. But on top of that, he put the wrench time in. You never seen him at the clubs. You never seen him smoking the cigars, hanging out with the boys, and you know what I'm saying, chasing the girls and all that, which is, we all do that. We've done that in our lifetime. This guy got married young.
Yep.
And I know the whole world is on my back. And I'm still out here at 41 years old, and my body hasn't broken down yet. Is that can't be luck.
And you know what?
It can't be luck.
Smart. No, not at all. He's like a veteran wrestler. Like we're talking about. We're like, his body is conditioned through all these years. He can do the endurance. And what I like about him too is if you watch, like he'll play hard, but it's like, you know what? He's entertaining the fans for the most part during the regular season. He treats certain games they know they got to win. Those are like the premium live events, the pay-per-views. Make sure they win them. Now that the playoffs are coming around, we're seeing a different side of LeBron. Now he's in the playoff mode. And so now you see the way he's able to do this is because he entertained the fans, during the season. He didn't go 100 miles an hour, rested when he needed to and was hurt because he knew what he was going to do. When it's time for the end and it counts in the playoffs, he's there like nobody else.
It's just like running the 400 meters.
Yeah.
You make the kick at the end.
Yeah.
Or the 800 meters. You got to have the kick at the end.
Yep.
If not, you're gonna blow up. You're gonna blow up, and everybody's gonna pass you at the end.
Yeah.
You got to have the kick at the end, and that's why I look at some of these guys. Their body was never conditioned for the long haul. If your body's not conditioned for the long haul, then it starts to stress out. That's where injuries come from. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of how I look at it. Who was that just said LeBron's going to play as long as Robert Parrish did? Sonic, he just passed Robert Parrish a few weeks ago. I don't know if you know that or not.
Wow.
He just passed him. But you got to remember, all these other guys that played 20-something years, they were coming off the bench.
That's true.
In their late 30s and stuff like that, or they were a shell of themselves in their late 30s. I've never seen anything like this in my life, and I've been watching sports since I was a little bitty kid. I've never seen anything like this in my life. And whenever I get into arguments, I'm not trying to get off track, because we're talking to the great David Otunga right here on the world's most dangerous podcast, Straight Shooting with Stevie Ray. But I got to say this, once we brought LeBron James up and basketball playoffs are getting ready to start, we might be looking at the most gifted athlete to ever play sports, because I've never seen this before. It's one thing to be good at your apex. It's another thing to be good when a whole new batch of players then came in the league and you still as good as all of them. I've never seen anything like this before. I've never seen this. A whole new batch of guys. Maybe Ric Flair. Maybe Rick.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know if Rick had he was the top 1% physically, body wise.
Yeah. I gotta go with you on that. Yeah.
But he's out there performing at the highest of levels. That is for sure. Well,
unbelievable, man. I had to throw a wrestler in there, though. You know, we got to put the wrestlers over, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But hey, man, we appreciate you coming on, brother. I still got a lot more to talk to. You got a few more minutes?
I got a few more minutes.
Okay. Brother, this is something personal.
Okay.
From one wrestler to another. From one actor to another. Maybe not at your level, but I did a couple of little things. The high profile marriage, brother. How did you deal with that, man? I mean, if you can talk about it, I don't know what's in the reserves as far as divorce status and things of that nature. I don't know what you can talk about, what you can't. I ain't trying to get in your business.
And legally, that's a great question to ask as a podcaster, somebody with the show. You don't want me saying anything that can get either one of us in trouble.
Right.
Oh my God! Luckily, I'm a lawyer, know how to dance around that. So I'll say what I can say. But,
okay.
No, I mean, it's just difficult living your life in the public eye, because then everybody chimes in and just, I don't know, is in your business. And the harder thing is going through a breakup publicly. But then the hardest part is then when there's false stories around you and blatant lies and allegations, and like you can't say anything. You're precluded from saying anything about it or defending yourself like in the public. And so you kind of have to eat that. That was one of the hardest things for me, I think. That's what I'm asking. That's actually what I'm asking. One of the hardest things in my life is probably still is in my mind, like people have a false representation of me that is entirely false. I was just about to ask you that. And I'm precluded by law from defending myself about this. Right. Like some point I'm gonna have to talk about this and make a video. Like that's a legal loophole, but like yes, that there was something that was, I was wrong here legally, and I'm by the law, I'm left no recourse to defend myself or clear my name in a way. Right. And you know, to be perfectly honest, I probably make more out of it than it is, but because that was such a wrong and an injustice that was done to me, and it was never spoken of, and people still might, I feel like they might carry something towards me for that if it's something I never did, and have proof of it, of my innocence and everything. So Anyway,
Oh, I was just about to ask you, do you think because of the perception of the many, perception of fans, that has held you back in certain avenues that you were seeking, that you could have excelled in?
Absolutely. And I don't just think it, I know it. Like, again,
Okay.
I'm a lawyer and I know how
Okay.
defamation works.
Mm-hmm.
And I have legitimate defamation case for this because there's actual damages along with this. But it's a legal loophole where certain speech is protected. And so presently, with the way the law is, there's nothing I could do about that. But yes, absolutely, that happened. And I'm not just saying I think I know and have like had conversations about them and told this and things. And so, yeah, especially when, I mean, we're in the same business, you know, entertainment and movies and stuff.
Exactly.
So, but you know what I will say that I loved is that my wrestling community, for the most part, stuck by me because like I'm their guy. And I mean, without getting into it too much, if you're the wrestling community, you've been paying attention, you know, part of the problem was not everybody agreed with my profession as a wrestler.
Right.
What I was doing. So like,
right.
I kind of was going through it because of my love for pro wrestling. So I think a lot of the fans, the ones who know, could see that. And also people know me. So despite, even if somebody has a louder voice, like, you know what you're doing.
And nowadays perception is reality.
Yeah.
Because of social media.
Yeah.
That makes it 10 times worse. And the reason I say that, the reason didn't want to really go into it or anything like that, I just wanted to see how you were doing, how you were feeling afterwards and what was going on with you afterwards. Because I saw a similar situation, and tell me if you agree with me or not, with Eric Benet.
I think I know what you're getting, and I don't know. Yeah, because I don't know the details of what went on there.
Then let me put it in this fashion. Then, regardless what happened or how deep it was, because of the person of which you're with, you have to be the automatic heel.
Yes,
regardless.
Yes.
So that's what I'm relating it to. You know what I'm saying?
So let me tell you this without necessarily saying anything about my situation.
Okay.
A hypothetical situation where the female is more well-known than the male. I'm not saying it's mine.
Okay.
She can do.
Let's say it's Mr. Producer.
Right. Or any Mr. Producer, you're right.
Let's say it's him.
Or anything. And because that person is more well-known or has more power, the courts show some deference to that.
Okay.
And it's wild. I've seen that happen. I've seen it happen. Not saying it was me.
Right.
Who knows? In this hypothetical situation, but like that's happened where that's so wild because somebody is more well-known, they're more believed. Actually, this just happened. I'm gonna take it off relationships. This just happened. I told a story that was popular or unpopular, depending on how people feel about it. I told about a situation I had with John Cena where we worked. I first told a lot of great experiences we had. And for the record, we're cool now. We see each other. But there was a time tempers flared. And the thing of it was, everything I told is factual. Like, it could be checked out. But because there was cognitive dissonance there, people didn't like hearing this about their hero, and he's more well-known. Then in the comments, people equated like my wins in professional wrestling with my veracity. Because I didn't win more matches than him, I shouldn't be believed. That's wild. But that's I mean, that's one thing that's sad about some of the wrestling community. When you go through the comments,
but perception is reality.
Right.
Especially when you get an array of people believing the same shit because somebody put it out there and it took off like wildfire. But we also have, this person is up here, this person is here, this person must be right. They must be believed.
Right. And it's that's such a just a ridiculous thing if you really stop and you think about it.
Oh, most
What are we
definitely.
talking about? Like it's like believing somebody is their character in a TV show, and so we can't we can't trust him. He was always you know what? If I'm being honest, I think that's another thing is because it's only I love my wrestling fans, but there's some who forget I played a heel, so they're so used to booing me that like it's cognitive dissonance again. Where like, hey, I'm not necessarily being a heel on my YouTube. I'm not. I'm just being me. But people forget, and that and I understand that because I went through great lengths to get people to boo me. That was my job, and I'm proud of it. So to be honest, to this day,
People used to ask me that all the time. What do you like playing, a heel or a babyface? And I would always tell them, I didn't care, man. I'm just glad to be in the business.
Yeah.
I want to challenge myself as a babyface. And I want to challenge myself I was a babyface first and was over. You know what I'm saying? Me and my brother back in Global, that's what put us on the map. We were over, man. We turned a building that was dormant. You hear that, Mr. Producer? The place was dormant. Me and my brother showed up and everybody came out and paid for a ticket to see us. I'm proud of that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm proud of that because I was a babyface. And we thought when we went to WCW, we were going to be the same thing. But they wanted to change the whole thing, turn it inside out, and turn us into heels. Okay, now we got to turn into the best heels we can possibly be. So I excelled as a babyface, and I excelled as a heel. So at the end of the day, it's still pro wrestling. And just like being an actor, and you can relate to this, how much range do you have?
Yeah, right.
How much range do you have? And I want to challenge myself, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Range-wise, you know what I'm saying? Then I started doing commentary. I want to be the best I want to challenge myself as commentary. So I couldn't be Stevie Ray anymore. And I had to go to tell the producers, I can't be him and do this. I got to do me that's had training in this. And I can throw him in a little bit, if that makes sense. I can throw him in there, but not all the time. Because Stevie Ray is like, oh man, look at these guys, if they're lucky I'm not in the ring right now. Well, I can't do that,
Yeah.
So when I started to change it up and I went to them and they was like, okay, cool. It got over. So in essence, we as entertainers love challenging ourselves. And I don't think the fans sometimes understand that. A lot of times we ain't got a say in it. Somebody come to David Otunga and go, this is what you gonna be. Yep. What you gonna say? Well, no, I don't want to do that. Well, McDonald's is hiring. Or your own law firm, you can go see if they still got your seat back there. I'm quite sure they don't. You'll be chasing ambulances or something like this.
But and that's how I understood going in is like, you either want to do this or you don't. Like people ask me all the time, why did you sign that contract, with the way it is? Because I wanted to do this. And if it wasn't me, do you know how many other people wanted to sign this contract? Also, I left a law. I bet everything on this to get here. Yes, I'm signing that contract.
Wow.
Do whatever they want me to do.
Whatever. Wrestling business. I'm writing a book right now. Matter of fact, I got a meeting tomorrow with my ghostwriter and my literary people tomorrow. And I'm writing a book, David. But you know something? I don't want to expose it on the show tonight. Now, since David is here, I'm going to give him a little perspective. David, I'm writing a book about pro wrestling, not about me. So many people have come to me and said, man, you should write a book, this, that, and the other, because my brother wrote a book. And I'm like, I never looked at wrestling like a lot of the guys look at wrestling. I don't know about you, but I've always looked at wrestling as a job. I never brought wrestling home with me. My family, nobody could talk about wrestling when I got home. You talk about everything else. Let's talk about that. I ain't got time to talk about what I do. I want to talk about what's going on in everybody else's life. You guys see what's going on in my life on television. So it really and truly ain't nothing to talk about. So I don't bring that home with me because I think when you are into entertainment business, once you start talking about what you do as an entertainment, then your business has become you. You don't have anything over the business anymore. Now it has devoured you. So now you're not you anymore. You're the person that you play or the person that you are, that when people see you. I never want to be that guy. Only when I'm on the clock, if that makes sense. When I'm on the clock, I'm Stevie Ray. When I'm not on the clock, I'm not Stevie Ray. Okay. So if that's who you're looking for, I've been out. You know what I'm saying? Having a drink, hanging, and somebody recognized you and come up and wanted to, and I'm like, I don't want to be rude, but I really don't have time to talk to you about wrestling right now. And I hope you don't take that the wrong way. Hey, man, I got the girls, man. You know, I got the drugs. I got this and blah, blah, blah. You ain't got me, bro. I ain't into that. Now, wait a minute. The girl thing, I'm not into that. You know what I'm saying? Let me see him first.
What you talking about?
I might take you up on that, but let me see him. No, I'm just kidding. Because once it starts, bro. Because, see, I came up working in clubs and stuff like that. And people used to pay me to clean their clubs up. And me and my boy had a security company together. Ahmed Johnson, you remember him. Oh, yeah. So we've been around all this stuff before we got into the real entertainment business. We was around the entertainment business. So I met so many entertainers and heard so many stories, private, personal stories, man. So I always would say to myself, man, if I ever make it, I'm not going to be like that. And I'm glad I did, man. So I'm glad I had a life before the life, because you know what the entertainment life does to people, whether it be singing, dancing, acting, wrestling, you know what it does. We've seen it a zillion times. So I think that was one of the things that kept me focused. Just like you being an attorney, knowing how things can spiral out of control if you let it.
Yep.
How many clients was innocent, brother? But they're in a quandary right now, David, and you got to try to help them.
Yeah.
Even though it's very bleak, your job is to help them. Wrong place, wrong time. Situation is down now.
Yep. Yeah. I remember I had a juvenile client, one of my first clients, and he was a good kid, but just got mixed up with the wrong kids. And man, they're trying to throw the book at him. It's like, why ruin this kid's life? You know, just for these mistakes weren't even that big, and it's not even like he was the main actor. He was with some people who did some stuff. So, yeah. But I had to fight, really hard for him just to get something that wouldn't ruin his life. Something that wouldn't follow him around forever. But I mean, that's just one example that happens all the time, and that's just for he was a good kid and just fell in with the wrong people. Right. And there you go.
So what I'm asking you is, do you think having a career before an entertainment career, do you think mentally, because we know all the knuckleheads and the walking fuck ups in this business, do you think that kept you in a safe place in this business?
I think so. Well, mentally, yes, because my frame of reference was so different, coming in, and it was unique. I came straight from the law firm, and then now I'm so used to such structure there. Everything was, kind of stiff, very, very professional, straight laced. And then, you go to professional wrestling, which is very professional, but loose. Professional about some stuff, but loose. It's a locker room, it's guys hanging out. And, but I feel like that was always something that helped keep me grounded, because it also made me keep my focus on, hey, no matter what people think, this is a business. No matter how friendly people seem, this is a business. I'm here to entertain. Whatever little politics are going on here at FCW, whatever, it doesn't matter, because as long as, I'm here trying to get to the main show and to entertain people there and show my value. And so that's what it was. How can I do my best with what I'm given? And then also, try not to take work home with me because I was only home like 2 days out of the week. And so,
and you want to enjoy them.
yes. And my son was young, and I want to
Yes.
spend time with him.
My daughter was young. Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, I'd have obviously have people coming up, especially both of us would have people coming up when we're out. And even though for the most part, people are pretty respectful, I try to, you know, just be discreet, take a picture, whatever. It's usually faster. We take the picture and, you know, send them on the way, but tell them, hey, you know, I'm with my family right now and whatever. And people are, you know, generally pretty cool about that. But I feel you on not bringing it home because, like, when I'm home, and for me, I needed that time to reset. I'm somewhat of an introvert. I don't think people realize for the most part. And so being away, being on for 5 days straight, I just need time to be off for a little bit. Think about whatever I want to think about and, you know, be with my family, with my son.
Because it's more this than anything. Once this gets penetrated, you know, right here, that's the beginning of the end, bro.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of the end. That's why my thing was I always tell people this. I'm like Magneto. You dig? When I got that helmet on, brother, you can't mess with me. You know what I'm saying? Remember Magneto in X-Men?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Magneto's my guy.
If he put the gimmick on, brother, y'all in trouble.
Over with. Yep.
You better hope you better get not even Xavier can mess with him, dog.
Yep.
When he got the helmet on. Because once he put that on, brother, all bets are off, man. So like I tell people, I always got the helmet on.
Yeah.
Always. When I'm not working, I got the helmet on. I don't want to see nothing, hear nothing, but do what I want to do. A lot of times I would go hang out with my buddies. I'm a big race car guy. Now I got buddies in the race car business, and wherever they're racing, I fly out there and hang out with those guys over the weekend. I never went home. And then I'll fly back to the Monday live show from wherever I was in the country. And that was so good for me, man, because I was doing what I like to do.
Yeah.
Which is be around racing and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Or go down to Florida and hang out for a weekend, stuff like that. Yeah, that's what I would do. And then I'm back on the road, you know, the next week. And it was almost like, hey, I needed that, bro. A lot of people, and I don't know about you, and I ain't trying to be antisocial because I'm not an antisocial person. I'm pretty sociable with people that I like. But in my whole career, I never hung out with professional wrestlers. Because one thing, what y'all like doesn't necessarily mean I like it.
Okay.
I like wrestling. I like performing. But how y'all blow off steam ain't the way I like to blow off steam. So see, I ain't trying to be in Sing Sing needing David Otunga. You dig? I ain't trying to call David Otunga and say, hey, bro, how much you gonna charge me to keep me out of Sing Sing? And you say, and you say, how much you got? Oh, I got about 500,000 liquid. That's what it's gonna cost.
Give or take. Just to get started.
I don't need that. I don't need that heat, brother. I know how attorneys work, man. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see what he's got.
How long have we been on the phone? I'll send you the bill after. Don't worry about it.
I never needed that heat. Don't get me wrong, man. I ain't saying nothing wrong with my contemporaries. You dig? But they just roll different than I roll. Don't get me wrong. I'm cool with everybody. But it's a time and place, man. In some of these towns, because it was different. It was very different back in our day. You know what I'm saying? My career started in 89. 89. Oh, yours started in 2005?
2008.
2008. So that's about what? 9 years? I mean, no.
A little more than that. I think you're frozen. Am I frozen?
Okay, there we
Okay.
go.
I got you.
Yeah, that's one of the shortcomings of doing stuff live. But we got a deal where we're gonna hook up to get more power. Cause see, I'm upstairs. I'm in a 2-bedroom condo, and this is my office where we're at right now, and this is why my exercise equipment and stuff, and my deal for my Wi-Fi is downstairs. So I'm thinking it's having trouble coming up sometime. So we got we're gonna take care of that. But anyway, man, hey, appreciate you coming on, brother.
Thank you.
I appreciate talking to you, man. I got the utmost respect for you. I think you had a hell of a career. You got a hell of a story. Now, if anybody was going to write a book, I'm not writing about myself, but a little. I'm talking about professional wrestling as it pertains to everything else. But, brother, you got a story, man.
Thank you.
You got a story.
Yeah. A book is something I definitely want to do. I think the hard part for me has just been balancing it between a ghostwriter and me wanting to write it myself, maybe co-author.
Well, see, I got a ghostwriter, and the reason I got a ghostwriter is writing it myself is one thing, but he can put all the particulars together as a writer, if that makes sense to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Writing it is one thing, but he knows how to make it look better. So in essence, you write stuff, give it to him, and it's almost like he takes your same words, but they just sound better, if that makes sense.
That might not be a bad idea, because you're right, man. Like I've got a lot to tell. I got a lot of stories to tell that I've never told, and maybe that's the
brother.
thing.
You just the little stuff you've talked about tonight. If we've talked about stuff in real length, oh my goodness, man, that would be something I would like to read.
Okay,
that's that's a very, very your life, very unconventional how everything took place. Just the little things you took tonight, from your father telling you to do this to you doing that, and your father being in position with all of his vast knowledge and the love for his son. And then your mother steps in and say, go do this. And who knows if you would have did it?
Right.
If your father was still around. If your father hadn't passed, would you have done it? We don't know. I think that's something for people to look at and, hey, could help them in their quandaries, whether, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's unique, man, in my eyes.
That's a very good question. I never thought.
But hey, man, couldn't happen to a nicer guy, man.
Oh,
ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the great I
think you froze on me.
What was that? You cut off for a second.
I
think
here.
we're having some yeah. Am I back now? Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's just how I see it. That's just how I see it, bro. I mean, that's just me, because man, you're one of the most interesting people I've ever talked to, man. I got the utmost respect for you. Wow. Hey, brother, you one of the good ones, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Otunga. David, I'm gonna see you at WrestleCon, right?
Yep, I'm there Friday and Saturday. I'll be there the same day as you, Saturday, and I'm there Friday too.
We'll be there Saturday, man. I'm looking for a few people, David.
All right.
I'm looking. I got a beef. I got a bone to pick with a few people.
Hey,
bro.
Well,
and I'm telling you right now,
if things take a left,
they better not show up.
If you need,
it's gonna be on like a steaming neck bones, bro.
Well, if you need a lawyer,
oh yeah, I forgot about that. I better not speak too soon. Nah, man, you already told me what you gonna do. You already gonna ask me what you got liquid. No, man, I'm gonna behave, man. You see how quick I can learn, man. Yeah, I'm gonna let my emotions not gonna get to me, man.
That's right.
Hey, David, appreciate it, man. And we'll see each other this weekend.
Absolutely.
Cool?
Thank you for having me.
Okay, ladies.
Appreciate it.
Most definitely, brother. Let's give it up for David Otunga, guys. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, we've done another one, another great show. And hey, that's how we do it here on the World's Most Dangerous Podcast. We're going to have some of the most interesting guests that you could possibly ever think about. And we appreciate everybody riding along on the train tonight, which is Stevie Ray TV on YouTube. And before we go, Mr. Producer,
Yes, I'm here, Stevie.
what do you think about the show? You got any parting remarks?
Yes, I do, Steve. I actually have a couple notes here.
What's that?
The first one is I might need David's help with you this weekend. David, if you're listening, we might need to agree on your assistance for legal troubles if Steve gets in trouble. With that being said, also, hey man, if you have Halle Berry's number, let me know. I wanna get in touch. Also, I have a bone to pick with someone
What's
in the
up?
comments.
What they say?
Sonic the Hedgehog
Uh-huh.
got after me because I said, why was I booing Steve about Magneto? Let me explain something about Magneto. He tried to kill Halle Berry so many times, man.
Oh, yeah, I
tried-
forgot about that.
Yeah, so
I forgot about that.
So nobody goes after my Halle Berry, man. That's one thing I'm gonna say.
I got you on that, man. I got you on that, brother. But hey, man, we're going to get ready, ladies and gentlemen, to get out of here. And we'll see you next week. And remember, if you don't do anything else in life, as you're watching the World's Most Dangerous Podcast, I want everybody to be one. Peace. See you. And I would not want to be you.